Hey guys, this is Tiggy Maximus, and welcome to part 2 of episode 159 of the Tiggy Maximus Talks podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Um, so earlier I actually had talked about the Royal Rumble. Um, that was an interesting Royal Rumble. You got some surprise entrants and um, it has some good action, and you got your most popular and most deserving superstars hanging out in the end. And the way that everything had ended, um, it was a good ending, but at the same time, it did leave a little more left to be desired. But of course, this is also um, right after the fact that Vince McMahon actually was stepping away from the I guess chairman of the board or something. So after some allegations came up, and for the best interest of anyone involved, it was best that TKO and Vince McMahon had made some sort of agreement that Vince would walk away. Um, so I guess that's what you call damage control. Which, by the way, Bailey from Damage Control won the Women's Royal Rumble, and she gets to choose between Io Sky for her championship, her WWE Women's Championship, or the World Women's Championship held by Rhea Ripley. And you got some intriguing matchups between the two. Um, so I guess Bailey's gonna make their decision which one she wants to face. I mean, there is something brewing between Damage Control members and um, Bailey. And in a way, I feel that if you do challenge Io, um, it might be the championship over, solidarity, loyalty. But at the same time, Bailey facing Rhea Ripley could be a great challenge and could put on one great matchup. Because, Bailey can really do well. She'd had some great matches before, and she's had some great matches at WrestleMania. Um, but honestly, it does kind of make you think that whether you should make Bailey not pick Io because they're teammates, but at the same time, there's dissension. You can just see it on screen, but there's dissension within the group. Pretty much Bailey versus the group. And really, her only ally is really Dakota Kai. So, um, and the other side, you got Cody Rhodes. He outlasted everybody. Um, I think Cody was like at 15 or something, so he got in at 15 and he outlasted Gunther, CM Punk, um, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Omos, um, Damian Priest. You even saw Andrade. But the fact that Andrade and um, what was his name? Escobar, um, to kind of have a little thing going on there. Now, granted, not everyone was invited to the Royal Rumble. I noticed that some people were omitted. Um, it was interesting to see some rivalries that were formulating, especially between Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley, and that's like a great rivalry to have for Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley because you're not too far off from the championship scene, but you're kind of like on the high part of the mid card, if that makes sense. So to be placed in that position, it's not far off that you're going to start challenging for the championship. So um, other than that, it'd be interesting to see how Cody is going to address Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. So maybe this is the Cody Rhodes finishing his story. So um, can't wait to see what happens. Let's see. Oh, I think I might have forgotten to do this, but I was supposed to tell you guys about I think his name was Abby Roberge. So he actually performed right after the Stood Up Live dating comedy show. And I wanted to say that he actually did pretty well with the crowd that night. It was an 8 o'clock crowd on a Thursday night. Um, I think that was on the 18th. Yeah. So the reason why I brought that up is because um, the fact that he did really well with the crowd, his jokes did pretty well. He did talk about his name, Abby, and like pretty much there's no guy ever named Abby except for him. So overall, I would say he was an 8.5 out of 10. Don't know if I actually said that before, but I don't think I did. But I said it here now. Um, I do want to mention there was a great comedy show I went to on Wednesday night, and uh, that was at the U31 restaurant bar in North Park. I've always wanted to go there, but I've always had other alternatives to watch, like sporting events, UFC stuff. Um, so for that, I'm glad I got to go to U31. I got to see it for myself. There are a few pool tables. That's pretty cool. And then you walk past that and you get to the comedy room in the patio. So the patio that's adjacent to the U31 is where they get to do like special events and of course comedy shows now. And it was hosted by Mike McCalla, great comic. He always has like a lot of like one-liner jokes. So that's a cool style to have. He did talk about how, he wasn't getting any mail, so he's going to change his name to current resident, which you guys might see that quite a bit in your mail, including myself, but I haven't called myself current resident yet. Um, so Mike McCalla, I would say like for his comedy, I would say he was about a 7.5 out of 10 for his comedy. He got some good laughs, but because his one-liners do take some time to kind of make you think, because they're like smart jokes. Um, yeah. So that was pretty cool though, and uh, I remember there was a Simon Blackthorne. He had some laughs. That's when I walked in on the show. Um, I would say he was probably a 7.9 out of 10 for his comedy. Um, and then I remember there was a Jennifer Mason. She had some mostly new jokes from what I remembered. I don't think she ever talked about her acupuncture at all. So, um, she talked about dating, I think. And so she got some good laughs too. I would say she was probably an 8 out of 10 for her comedy. So, there was an Ezekiel Escovaria. Don't know if I pronounced his last name right, but his name is Ezekiel. Guy's pretty intense. Pretty intense. And I think he had talked about lesbians, couples, love, dating in general. Um, I don't know if you ever talked about like Friends or talk about the guys in his set. So he got some good laughs. I would say he probably did not too bad. I would say he did like a 8.3 out of 10. I've seen him one time before, and it's kind of the same style from before, from what I remembered. I don't remember any particular jokes, but the fact that the way his delivery is during his sets, I would say, um, yeah, 8.3, justified. um, so I remember there was also, um, let's see, uh, there was a guy that was brought up. I think his name was Tyler Wolf. Came from like Boise, Idaho. He talked about his appearance, and he did talk about the lesbian couple in the front row. But he got a lot of good laughs, and he's pretty good. I would say he say he was about a 8.4 out of 10. So um, I did talk to him for a little bit. He was like a cool guy, and I guess he's very appreciative that I posted pictures of him and tagged him. So now other comics get to see who he is and maybe get like an invite to their show down the road in San Diego. So um, I might be what you call a vessel for all the comics, so you get to see other comics. uh, so yeah, uh, and then Mimi Harris was on the lineup too. Um, She did really well. She did some new jokes. I like her DoorDash one. DoorDash guy is always late, makes her pay the bill. Very toxic relationship, I suppose. Uh, so I enjoyed it, and I think she was at 8 out of 10. That's probably the best I've seen her perform, actually. Um, let's see. Overall, good show. I wouldn't mind going there again to see more. I actually did miss Teddy B. He performed, but he performed before I showed up, so I can't say much about that. Um, I did go to an open mic after this one. Um, there was an open mic actually at the U31. It featured Ellis Lynn. She did her Tom Cruise jokes. It also featured Taylor Spencer. It also had this guy named Corey Jordan up there. Cheryl Sunstein did her open mic. Um, oh, Butch Cassidy or Cassidy Staines. She was on the lineup actually for the showcase at the U31. She did pretty well. She addressed the lesbian couple in the front row, talked about the community, the LGBT, and then she talked about how she used to play football, and guys had wished that they had known that she was a girl. So she was at 8.5 out of 10. Did pretty well with the crowd. And then yeah, open mic. Um, Taylor Locke was on there. He talked about how he just has a superpower, turn a block of cheese into brown liquid. Um, Brown liquid gold or something, because he's lactose intolerant. Um, so after all that, oh, Josiah Moreno did his open mic too, so did pretty well. Um, Talked about his mixed race heritage. So, um, so then we got the open mic, and it was hosted by Roman Mechaka. He runs the open mic at the Cloud9 Hookah Lounge in North Park, just down the street from U31. And it had like usuals, had Ben Keltner. He was also at the U31 as well. Mimi Harris did her comedy, worked on a new crowd. Ellis Lynn went up. Mike McCalla went up. Um, um, oh, Adrian Diaz went up too. So that was pretty cool. And then there was this guy that was kind of telling like racist jokes. Um, he wasn't really that funny. And then he sat next to me, and then he stepped on my foot. So before he left, but his voice reminds me of Tom Rhodes. So, anywho, that was kind of nice. I wouldn't mind going back to Cloud9 Hookah Lounge as well, just to kind of see new comics. I think there was a guy by the name of Ishmael that was performing too. He wants to get his feet wet with comedy. So, anywho, um, Thursday night I went to the mic drop. Wanted to see Crazy Woke Asians hosted by Kiki Yeung. My first time seeing her. It was an amazing show. Like nobody bombed on that show. Um, uh, so Kiki went out. She's very hip, very modern, up keeping up with the times. Um, and I finally got to see her show because I keep seeing her show like on the calendar, but I never got a chance to go because I'm always making time for everybody else. So I always said that I always try to make time for everybody, but it was good that I got to you know, it was good I got to go to this one. And I'm glad I did because this one we had so Kiki Young talked about, you know, wants to get away because her kids are like, you know, troublesome, and just to come out to San Diego away from her kids is like, freedom for her. I would say that Kiki did pretty well. I would say she was about a 8.5 out of 10. Um, she also brought up Harpreet Mali. Uh, he talked about that he's like I guess kind of people don't always pick up that he's either Indian or some other ethnicity. So I think he talked about that. Crowd liked him a lot. I think he was 8.4 out of 10. Did pretty well. And then I remember there was a Danny Plums. First time seeing the guy, he talked about he can't grow facial hair correctly as an Asian guy. I can kind of relate because I've always trying to experiment. He then talked about how how when Asians don't look their age, but Caucasian women do, and so he was dating a Caucasian woman, and people thought that, oh wow, a teacher is dating a student, and then didn't you just make a movie about that? So yeah, Danny was kind of cool to talk to after the show. He did pretty well with the crowd. He was like an 8.6 out of 10. Um, I remember there was Sean Porter, kind of intense. He talked about being mixed race. Um, he was 8.5 out of 10 for his comedy. There was an Eli Nicholas. He talked about being in jail, how he tried to go on a highway chase with the cops because he was high. Um, so yeah, um, he did talk about his time in jail. So um, he was pretty funny though, and I guess he has a special out, a 30-minute special on streaming services. So check that out. Um, I would say he was about an 8.7 out of 10. And then Dante Chang went up. Um, he was Pretty funny. He talked about growing up as the only Asian kid in his school. All the black kids would like try to copy him, but then forget that, he also copied his name as well. First rule of copying someone's tests or answers is to don't write their name as yours. So, yeah, he talked about growing up, and he was a pretty cool guy. I think Dante was about a 8.5 out of 10. Um, and then I think there was a um, what's his name? Oh, um, Tony Shriller. Tony Shriller was on there. He brought out his guitar. Talked about if comedy doesn't work, he's gonna play guitar. Um, what's funny is that after he told some jokes, he ended his set by playing a song by titling this song "The Seven Things um, I Like About My Girlfriend." And he played the song without words, and then he ended the song without words and says thank you, and then realized that either silence is the best thing about women or nothing about women that he likes or nothing about his girlfriend that he likes. So, but I guess my first impression was the thing he liked about his girlfriend was basically the silent treatment. So I guess that works. I got a lot of laughs. I think he was 8.8 out of 10. So it's kind of cool talking to him. Um, and then I got to see Blake Barty. I met him before actually. Cool guy. Um, I guess he was like the only guy that has no Asian ties. Um, he talked about not being on the dating apps and talk about dating, single life, and I happened to yell out Bumble was one of the dating apps that I was trying to use. Um, there was this very vocal couple that was sitting in front of me at my table, and I guess they answered a lot of questions for the people on stage. So, but yeah, Blake Barty, I would say he was pretty good. I would say he was about an 8.7 out of 10. So, and then we got your headliner, Nicole Tran. First time seeing her. She does have the thick accent as the Vietnamese lady, and you know, she really made it work, and she did a lot of one-liners. Uh, she talked about her friend Bing Bing and how she doesn't want to take her last name because otherwise it's Bing Bing Bing, like the Jack jackpot casino slot machines. So that was kind of funny. So a lot of stuff she says, I like it. It just kept getting more funny as her set went on. So she did pretty well. I would say she was an 8.9 out of 10. Overall, this was actually a really great show, and I would not mind going again, and can't wait to see them all again down the road. One more thing. I did go to Burbank Friday night, Flappers Comedy Club. I went to see um, Maya Spielman and Sarah Halstead. The show was hosted by PJ Baio. It was a good show. It has a lot of comics I haven't seen. I was hoping to see Maya Spillman and Sarah Halstead, but I did see Sarah Halstead, but I missed Maya Spillman because driving in LA traffic on a Friday night, not the best ideal scenario. A lot of a lot of traffic, a lot of stoppage, stop and go. Um, but I got a picture with Maya though. I got a picture with Maya and her two friends, her blonde friend, and then her other friend is a classmate because Maya and Jennifer Cucksack, they take classes together for comedy at the Flappers Comedy Club. So it's kind of cool seeing the new comics on the scene. So can't wait to see them down the road. Um, I remembered seeing uh, there was a guy by the name of Nuri, very monotone, didn't really smile too much, but he was kind of funny though. I would say he was about a 8.2 out of 10. I remember there was a Tade. He was up. He wore like a nice suit. He brought his friends with him. He was kind of funny. I would say he's about an 8 out of 10 for him. Um, there was this really funny guy by the name of, I think his name was Adrian Sandoval. He sat on a table on stage and he had his legs spread out, as if he was either giving birth or just being in the position for sex. One of the two. The thing is, somebody's head was in the way of his crotch, so I can't see. I'm glad that I didn't get a full line view of the crotch. So, I think Adrian was about I would say like an 8 out of 10 as well. There was a guy by the name of David Reinitz, and he was super funny. Talked about there's too many pens in the world. You don't need to make pens. If you go 3 years without creating pens, you still have a lot of pens. But he said that pens used to be so valued, banks would chain down those pens at the bank so you can't take them. So I would say David Reinitz, I would say he's about an 8.6 out of 10. Pretty funny guy. Um, Again, I didn't see Maya Spielman, even though I was kind of there to see her. But getting pictures with her actually kind of made up for it. So I got to talk to her husband again, Craig. He's a cool guy to talk to. I did see Sarah Halstead. She had a really fun set, and um, that was pretty cool seeing Sarah Halstead. It was mostly her usual jokes and talking about how her husband has a wine or alcohol problem, and it's her, or keeping up with her. So, one day I would like to kind of drink with Sarah Halstead. Actually, that would be kind of cool. Sarah Halstead, I think she was about a 8.4 out of 10. Did a great job. Um, and then yeah, that's all I can remember from the show. Um, Nobody else comes to mind, but I'm pretty sure I'll see them down the road again. Um, so there you have it, guys. That's all the comedy I want to talk about. Right now, it's going to be some football going on. Chiefs and Ravens fighting for the AFC Championship, and I'm picking the Ravens to win that one. Lions and 49ers for the NFC Championship. Again, I'm picking the 49ers to win that one. So my Super Bowl is basically 49ers and Ravens, and I'm picking Ravens to win the Super Bowl. So, anywho, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Remember to have some good food, good company, watch some good comedy, watch some good action, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Um, so the saying goes, boom, Tiggy Maximus signing off, baby. All right, later, guys.